News.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, we're hearing that the date for general elections may not be too far off. Amid calls for the Prime Minister Fendel Stewart to name a date, he addressed the issue at a joint Democratic Labour Party meeting at the Lawrence Tigay Primary School. Kishmar Singis reports.
Very soon. That is the timeline given by Prime Minister Fendel Stewart with respect to the calling of general elections in Barbados.
Not too long from now, I am going to let the Governor General know when I want nomination day to be and when I want polling day to be. And once we have settled those issues, and I'm doing it very soon, I will then choose the day, the night, and the time to come to St. Michael Northeast to deal with that political quantity.
The Prime Minister defended the record of the incumbent Democratic Labour Party during its term in office. The heat was turned on the BLP. Minister of Tourism Richard Seeley says the opposition is yet to present any alternatives aside from promises.
Those of you in St. Michael Northeast and elsewhere who have been convinced that an opposition leader does not have to present a plan, that is not true. When we were in opposition, we presented a plan. And not only did we present it, but I was the one that got the phone call after we won the government, and he said he was sending me to tourism. I thought he meant I called him back because I didn't understand what he said. He was sending me to some place. And he said, no, Richard, tourism. Yeah. And that is how I ended up, and I'm still there now.
Candidate for St. Michael West Central James Paul is telling the BLP to look inward at the failed projects during its time in office and the ministers responsible. He labeled the opposition election campaign as one of lies.
Think about it. Every single controversial project that was associated with them, whose name ranks high. Crab Hill. EduTech. These are projects which this same person who looks to point accusing fingers at the members of this administration, accusing us of doing the same thing. But you know what? It is because they know no better. That is how they see a government can be run.
Candidate for St. Michael Northeast Patrick Todd isn't intimidated by his opponent, the leader of the opposition. He is already reaching out to residents in St. Michael Northeast.
As a member of the Democratic Labour Party government serving in the cabinet, I am able to leverage this position to ensure that the people of St. Michael Northeast are able to see tangible improvements in the quality of their lives, comrades and friends. So while visiting the residents of Story Gap, Codrington, they told me, well, listen, we need, we have some areas that, we will need debushing. So I will be speaking to the Minister of the Environment.
DLP candidate for Bridgetown, Henderson Williams, isn't buying the excuses from his opposition rival in the city. He says the BLP candidate Jeffrey Bostick has failed Bridgetown. Kishmar Singis, CBC News.
Kishmar, thanks. Well, lawmen are tonight investigating the circumstances that led to the death of one of their own. The officer's lifeless body was discovered outside his Christchurch home early this morning. Sharika Griffith visited that scene and she filed this report.
Just days after celebrating his 31st birthday, Police Constable Shane Welch met his untimely death after being stabbed at his Kingsland Drive Christchurch home. Police PRO Inspector Rodney Innes says lawmen responded to a call just before 6 this morning.
Our investigation led us to a residence here in Kingsland, where a body of a male was discovered. That lifeless body was later known to be a male member of the Royal Barbados Police Force. We have extended condolences on his family and relatives on behalf of the Commissioner and the command team. We have personnel on the ground. We've restricted the area. We curtail our traffic as our active investigation is still going on at this stage.
As news spread of the tragedy, several police officers, including colleagues from the Oistins police station where the deceased was attached, descended on the scene. Many of them appeared to be in a state of disbelief.
Obviously, we're grief-stricken. We have put systems in place with our victim support personnel on the ground. We have personnel on the ground and at the station, Oistins station, and we are lending support in every way. We are trying to support each other.
Uncle of the deceased, Michael Welch, says his nephew was cool, quiet, and a lover of animals who had recently expressed an interest in getting into farming. He says the family is taking the news very hard.
But to me it's sad that people can't really solve their problems without resorting to gun or knife. You know? But for right now you don't know exactly what happened. All you know is that I got this call this morning just about 6 or thereabout, telling me Shane's dead. I said, oh, Shane dead. Shane dead, you're here laying up on the ground dead. Somebody stabbed him up. But you can't say why, how, nothing like that. I got to wait now to hear exactly what transpired.
Longtime friend Jason Blunt says Shane's death has left him totally devastated.
Honestly, very upset at the manner of it happened, but it has honestly took a toll on me. I am trying my best to cope with it. I said we basically know each other all our lives. Yeah, so it was very, very tough, very.
Esther Lane says the deceased, who was a friend of her son's from school, spent many days at her home during vacation.
I feel it as though, any mother would, because he was like my son. I've always known him to be respectful, very calm, cool. I've never seen him flustered, really. I've never seen him flustered. But I just have fond memories of Shane, and it's heartbreaking to be here and seeing him in that state.
The officer's death, which is being treated as unnatural, has prompted calls for an end to the violence.
The violence in Barbados it's escalated, obviously. It's completely out of control. I think something really has to be done in the manner that these senseless killings are happening. Something really should be done to curb the violence in Barbados.
Police are appealing to anyone who has information which may assist with their investigation to contact any police station, Police Emergency 211, or the Oistins Police Station at 418-2612. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Thanks, Sharika. Students and staff of the Lawrence T. Gay Memorial Primary are in mourning tonight. Teacher Paula Corbin was pronounced dead while she was being treated at the QEH following a car accident yesterday near Coverley. A CBC team visited the deceased Park Road Bush Hall home this morning, but relatives declined to speak with the media. Her death brings the number of road fatalities to 7 so far this year. The backlog of court cases has started to impact prisoners on remand, and Superintendent of Prisons Lieutenant Colonel John Nurse says it's also stretching the prison's resources. Kareem Smith tells us more.
More than half of the over 850 inmates at Her Majesty's Prison Dodds have not been convicted of a crime. According to Superintendent of Prisons Lieutenant Colonel John Nurse, over 51% of the prison population consists of people on remand who are simply waiting on their cases to be heard. Lieutenant Colonel Nurse says 10 to 20% of the prison capacity is for people on remand, adding that due to the backlog in the courts, that space is now dwindling.
More people are coming and your numbers start to swell. Within the remand site, the resource facility is small because it did not anticipate going beyond a certain number. That has happened. We have gone way beyond what we anticipated would be in the remand site. So therefore the pressures are on end up on our resource facilities.
The increasing numbers have officials struggling to find resources to provide meaningful activities for those on remand who are now getting the same attention as convicted inmates.
We don't have all of those resources, so we have to seek out and encourage volunteerism, compete with other government departments for resources, try to convince our ministry to partner with us in finding additional resources and so on. So that is, there's a significant pressure being placed on the prison service if you have this shift in dynamic.
Amid calls for speedier court trials, he's asking Barbadians to play a bigger role in discouraging deviant behavior. But if the increase persists, the top prison officer will be agitating for more resources to deal with the prisoners. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
Thanks, Kareem. And in other news now, Barbadians are being encouraged to make this year's Oystins Fish Festival a safe one. This from Health Minister John Boyce during a service at the St. Lawrence Church to mark the start of the annual festival yesterday. He says a number of events will be on offer, including a lighting ceremony, a floodlit tattoo, and a Sir Harold St. John Memorial Lecture. Minister Boyce says safety is key in ensuring the festival's success.
Let us make sure that this is a safe festival. Encourage all of us, adults and young people, to behave in a manner which would be acceptable in his name and acceptable in our name, so that we will have no accidents or incidents associated with the festival.
We'll take a break here, but when we come back, there's more news, so stay tuned. Children from primary schools across Barbados were taught about interacting with others who have disabilities. It was done during the second Everyone is Able event hosted by the Barbados Physical Therapy Association at Dome Mall yesterday. President of the Barbados Physical Therapy Association, Dr. Nicola Yard, who is the co-organizer of the event, indicates that its aim is to help children to realize that it is okay to be different. She hopes that the event will help to move towards a fully inclusive Barbados where children accept others with disabilities and grow into adults already sensitized to the disabled community.
What we're doing today is that we're pairing a child with a disability with a child without a disability. They're going to participate in several activities together, compete together, and they have a get-to-know segment. So we're hoping that at the end of the day, children without disabilities will realize that children with disabilities are people just like them. And following today, children that are participating, they're supposed to go back into their schools, and on Disability Awareness Day, which is the 28th of this month, they're supposed to share their experience with their classmates. So that way we hope that we can reach more children.
Fellow organizer Dr. Rhea Clark says pairing children without disabilities with those who have plays an important role in sensitization.
Got 24 pairs of children, and the disabled children would include children with cerebral palsy, with spina bifida, with developmental delays, with heart conditions, as well with some sort of mental challenges. These children would have been pulled from the pool of patients who I see. They're all registered patients of the Albert Cecil Grimm Development Center, which is where I work as a pediatric physical therapist. So today it's basically about pairing them, about getting to know each other, okay, and about being comfortable around someone who is different from you.
Well, she's an inspiration to many for her calmness in the face of threats and taunts from another female student. So now Princess Margaret student Aria Newton is encouraging parents and students not to dismiss the work of the Juvenile Liaison Scheme, which she says has helped her. Aria and her mother were guests on CBC TV8's program Morning Barbados. Aria says interventions from her parents have made a difference, and she was even moved by the outpouring of love from her school, where she was recognized for that restraint during assembly last Friday. And aside from being named a peace ambassador, a donor has also offered Aria a scholarship at BIMAP.
I didn't like it for it to go this far. Like, I was shocked. When he told me so, when the deputy told me so, I was like, whoa.
Just from doing that, what you did.
Well, Aria's mother, Sophia Newton, says she was filled with emotions when she saw the video of the incident circulating on social media.
Then I was like, well, she's just there. She's not doing nothing. And you can see the strength and like the anger in her when she was hitting the bottle. Yeah. And I was like, please, don't let this girl fight her.
The Ministry of Education is retooling teachers and bringing them into the modern age. It's coming through a project called Strengthening of Teacher Professional Development to improve the quality of education program. It's being funded to the tune of $83,000 through the Organization of American States Inter-American Agency for Cooperation and Development. Officials from the Education Ministry, along with members of the OAS, signed off on the agreement this morning. Chief Education Officer Karen Best says they will focus on 2 areas at the Erdiston Teachers Training College.
We are going to be strengthening the Professional Development Center, something that we wanted because teachers have to be on the cutting edge. It is not that you're going to the classroom, you are trained and that is it. We have to retool, and this is what we're using this for. And then, as the PS said, we are looking at the delivering the courses using the blended modality, which is online and face-to-face. Now, Mr. Mark Barnett spoke about the study tour. We are looking to have to engage or embark on a study tour to Argentina and Bolivia, providing that the $83,000 takes us there. We'll have to come back to the OAS for some more money, but to look and see the best practices.
OAS representative to Barbados, Francis McBarnett, says the organization is happy to partner with Erdiston.
Education has been always one of the pillars in our Caribbean that has taken us to higher heights. We can improve the plant, but I think outputs depend on the teacher and the quality of the teacher that we have. So we are happy, delighted even to be part of this process.
Christchurch Foundation School student Dylan Ramdin is Barbados' newest junior tourism minister. He copped the title at the annual Barbados Tourism Youth Congress earlier today. He beat out 8 other secondary school students who also shared their ideas on how Barbados' tourism product could be enhanced. Main organizer Marsha Aline says the program allows several young people to have their voices heard and gain a better understanding of the industry.
The tourism industry is not just about persons who are actually working in the industry, but it also involves our youth. They are our future. They very much will take the industry, and they'll probably be one of those persons in about 10 or 15 years in my job, you know, taking on that responsibility. And so rather than starting in 10 or 15 years, we want to start now. We want to get them excited, interested in the industry, which is our #1 economic earner, so that they can actually tell their friends and they can feel that they are part of the tourism industry.
Ms. Aline also revealed that former junior tourism ministers have been making an impact in Barbados as well as overseas.
We have a past junior minister of tourism who's actually working with the BCMI in our UK office, and we also have a young gentleman who actually went to China. And so the Barbados Tourism Youth Congress does add lots of value and gives the youth a platform where they have been none before, that they can actually, you know, really jump off and create some awesome opportunities.
Still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. Guyana's legal team at the International Court of Justice is confident the border controversy case with Venezuela is in good hands. We have this report from HGP TV.
Guyana's legal team, who will be representing the interest of the state before the International Court of Justice, is currently in discussion with the relevant authorities, Foreign Minister Carl Greenidge said Thursday. Mr. Greenidge's remarks came as he was responding to questions from the media at the launch of Guyana Our Own, a song that provides information on the Guyana-Venezuela controversy and forms part of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs public awareness campaign on the issue.
The next step is a step in the hands of the lawyers who are preparing
the memorial. So Sridhar is here. He is perhaps better at explaining that. But anyhow, I think essentially the memorial is to go. That is, the case is to be put to the ICJ shortly. You will know when that time arrives. It is not a case. Well, we've had discussions with the authorities. So it's a process that is in train. It's not. It has not yet been submitted to the ICJ, but it will be shortly.
Sir Sridhar Ramphal, who is currently Guyana's advisor on the border controversy, also spoke to the media on the issue. Sir Sridhar is confident that the legal team will be successful.
The case is in good hands. It's in the hands of the same team that won the judicial proceeding with Suriname. We go to work again to finish the job.
Since Guyana is using the judicial team who went before the courts for the Suriname matter, Sir Sridhar said the Venezuela case is a much easier one, since old resources on the matter are still accessible in many reservoirs across the world.
They have tried to avoid this day, but the day has come. And as the minister said, the application, which is the start of the process, is in train. And when that is done, the case is in the hands of the highest judicial authority in the world. Guyana could not expect better. And it is for us now to establish to the world what has always been the case.
The matter between Guyana and Venezuela had been resolved since before the country gained its independence. But Venezuela, again in 2015, just after ExxonMobil found oil, issued a decree. Earlier this year, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres announced he was referring the decades-old controversy to the ICJ.
Jamaica's Firearm Licensing Authority has launched an investigation to determine how a machine that has the capability to manufacture parts for firearms entered the island without a permit. We hear more in this
is
TVJ
the machine
report.
in question. It was discovered by the Firearm Licensing Authority on Tuesday after visiting this business establishment in Manchester. The FLA says the machine can make parts for guns, but attorney-at-law John Jr., who represents the owner of the machine shop, says the statement is frivolous. He told TVJ News his client imported the machine 4 years ago and it cleared customs without an issue.
There are, I think, some 8 machines like that in the island, in the possession of people who are in the business of machine shop operator.
Can such a machine make a firearm?
Any machine, well, every machine shop would be capable of making a firearm. No one machine can make the various parts. You don't just put a 45 or a 9mm and out comes a gun. There are several components to a firearm. Any machine shop can replicate those parts.
The attorney is also refuting claims of a standoff with the police during Tuesday's operation to access the business place.
I spoke with the FLA representative on site, indicated to him that I'd appreciate if before any steps are taken in the matter, that counsel be present.
The FLA reported that the probe began after 8 individuals in Manchester requested permits to purchase a high volume of ammunition in February. The owner of the Manchester property is one of the individuals.
President Jovenel Moise has led the country in expressing condolences to the families of those reported missing and presumed dead after a boat carrying 17 people sank off the northern coast of Haiti over the weekend. Media reports said the incident occurred last Saturday evening in the waters between the Turtle Island and the coast of Haiti. According to those media reports, at least 12 people, including a Roman Catholic priest assigned to the Sacred Heart Parish on Turtle Island, are missing and feared dead. Well, sports news is just ahead, but before we get to that, here is a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Some supplements are made in unsafe surroundings, like a basement or kitchen lab, and can be contaminated with steroids and other banned substances. This fact is brought to you compliments the National Anti-Doping Commission.